Reddit is home to some of the strangest, darkest, and most disturbing corners of the internet. Today we're diving into some deeply unsettling Reddit users and the bizarre stories surrounding them. If you enjoy videos like this, make sure to like and subscribe. It seriously helps the channel grow. Worthless319 created his account on December 25, 2016, and became a legend in the Reddit horror community. His account reads like the unraveling journal of someone who lost his grip on reality, becoming convinced that his own suffering was somehow the key to saving humanity. His first post seems normal enough. He asks whether North Korean leadership understands what an eclipse is, wondering if they might mistake it for some kind of attack from the United States. But that quickly changed in his next post. Fear of suffering / bringing an awareness into suffering? The innate truths behind the universe have been revealed to me. I have severely to near death in the past, and I was awful at dealing with the pain. I couldn't remotely bring a non-judgmental awareness into it. Sitting on the edge of eternity, I see pure suffering, as awful as it gets once my life is over. It is my path to enlightenment, no different from Christ's. But I'm scared. I can't function anymore. I am so afraid of what comes after for me. Saying me is an odd thing, though. Mere suffering exists. No sufferer is found. The deeds are, but no doer of the deeds is there. Nibbana is, but not the man that enters it. The path is, but no traveler on it is seen. I've read Be Here Now about 25 times front to back. Near the end, it depicts Christ, and it says, this trip requires total suffering, but it's got to be suffering that is no suffering. It also says, you've got to go the whole suffering trip, but you can't be the guy who is suffering. I understand this means the physical body and ego will die, but how can one manage to suffer without suffering? I'm so caught up on this I can't step over the line into the infinite. This post is disturbing for two reasons. First, it suggests Worthless319 may have been experiencing a serious break from reality or struggling with severe mental health issues for some time. Second, he openly claims that certain innate truths were revealed to him and that these beliefs pushed him toward harming himself. In the next couple of posts, he drops a bombshell. An extremely gruesome post explaining that he ended up in the emergency room because he shot his cooked it, and then ate it. How to proceed when you only seem to fail. Greetings. I am in the most intense part of the awakening process that is possible. First, I circumcised myself, ended up at the ER. Next, I shot my 4 times with a revolver and consumed it after cooking it slightly on a frying pan. I called an ambulance on myself after freaking out and ended up at the ER. During that process, I blew apart my left testicle and they removed it since it was beyond repair. Finally, after many months of agonizing depression, I got the courage to sever my remaining ending up at the ER again. All I have done is follow God's will to crucify myself, but I always seem to fail. I cannot, for the love of God, make it past the obstacles given to me. Now God has come to me through my intuition, calling me to sever more of my... When I look at what's left, it's about 1 centimeter worth of skin bulging out with an empty scrotum attached, and it's baffling that I am supposed to sever more of it. At this point, I'm basically carving a hole into my body. Please, I am in the darkest times of my life as Earth nears the end times war, and I have no idea what to do or where to turn. I am so afraid of the pain and blood of doing this all over again, thinking once would be enough. Love and regards, Worthless319. Edit. If there are any doubts, I can email pictures freely. Some commenters on these posts called him a troll, accusing him of creating a creepypasta account. Worthless319 proved them wrong by attaching a now-deleted picture of his... The picture was disgusting, truly horrid. Other commenters jumped in, begging him to stop hurting himself. As you look through his posts, one Reddit commenter asks him why he's doing all of this. Worthless319 responds with his bizarre reasoning. Commanded to, by my higher self, to avoid nuclear war with North Korea and institute the second coming of Earth. Worthless319 believes that God has given him tasks he needs to complete in order to save the planet by preventing a nuclear war with North Korea. He claims he's done this 3 times already, and now his higher self is telling him to do it once more. Another Reddit user asks him why he feels the need to please God in this way. They question whether he really believes God would take pleasure in seeing him suffer. Just curious, why do you wish to please this God that asks you to cause yourself such pain and injury? What do you think would happen if you just said no to a God who gets pleasure from ordering you to and eat yourself? After this, only thing left to do is done. What do you think will happen next? Has he said, will he grant you peace, save the world? What? Are you doing this for him, for yourself, or for all of us? Are any of these things clear to you? Has he actually revealed his plan, or is it just one step at a time? I'm genuinely curious about the process you're experiencing, and only ask these things since you seem okay discussing them. In the end times, knowledge will greatly increase. If I don't do this, it's Armageddon time. End of the world, end of humanity as a cosmic player in the universe. Think of Donald Trump, North Korea, the increase in current natural phenomena, hurricanes, which shape as a spiral galaxy, etc. The mushroom is a symbol of power. Psychedelics, the mushroom clouds from nukes. It's one mushroom to avoid the rest. If I make it through this final step, my soul will descend into hell to be purified, and the earth will be renewed through my suffering. It's extremely unpleasant, and I daily question why God chose me. I'm the most average person I can think of. To add to this whole mess, Worthless319 also admitted that he had been taking LSD, a psychedelic drug that he personally referred to as God's substance. I am the most average person I can think of, but I've always had a lot of love. For the past year, I've been jobless, living at home with my family after I shot my off and ate it. Before that, it was university, playing music, working out, and a decent amount of LSD over 2 years. God's drug. One of the worst parts of this entire story happens in one of the post threads. Instead of trying to talk him down, one Redditor starts playing into OP's delusions. It reads as follows, but at the same time, what really can't you handle? I've done it 3 times now. My intuition tells me to do it a 4th. It's hard to cut through your own body. Get to cutting. That soul needs all the experience it can collect. You'd think shooting your 4 times with a .38 special revolver, severing the last slice with a switchblade, sautéing it on the stove whilst bleeding out, then consuming it in 2 halves would be enough for one soul. But I digress. In one of his posts, Worthless319 goes into detail about how helpless he feels, describing the sense that he can no longer control himself. I feel like I'm drowning in an ocean. I try to swim and I sink. I don't try to swim and I sink further. I've heard it all. Every religion, every school of thought, the best speakers, hidden universal truths and archetypes have been revealed through deep insight, and I've acquired a lot of knowledge through experiences which are deemed the most important. I especially fear the end of humanity as it approaches. It's inches away, centimeters. No one understands me, especially myself. I don't know who I am any longer. I'm so close to the point of complete surrender that it appears infinitely far away, and I keep grasping. I've gone insane. I have a limitless amount of love built up inside of my limited consciousness, with no one and no thing to share it with anymore. Maybe that's why God needs me to share it with it? Really? All I have left to say at this point is, what the fuck? A commenter urged OP to visit a doctor or seek psychiatric care before going any further, but it didn't work. Worthless319's mind was already too far gone. The universe is crucifying me. I have removed my and both, but roughly 1 inch of space remains. My intuition, God, higher self, primal instinct, etc., tells me to remove it. The first time I used a gun, now I must use a knife, and it is going to be exceedingly difficult and painful compared to a few trigger pulls. Are you sure it's your intuition telling you this, my friend? I would seek advice from a medical professional before going any further. I am in the midst of universal truth no medical professional would understand. I've experienced 3 hospital visits and total to 3+ months locked in psychiatric facilities being fed medication. In a now deleted post, he asks, how much would it hurt to have your cut off? I ask because I shot my 4 times with a revolver, cooked it, and ate it afterwards. I called an ambulance after about 5 minutes of listening to music laying on the ground. and don't remember much of the pain due to the ambulance ride and anesthesia. I presume a knife slicing through it would hurt more than bullets. What do you think? Another Reddit user reached out. This is beautifully said. You obviously have a great deal of insight. I love you too, which is why I'm starting to become worried sick about you. You come to this forum so often talking about your self-harming and self-cannibalism, and how God is requesting you continue self-harming. I want to ask you if you are seeking help outside Reddit. I'm glad this community is here for you, but it's not enough. Words on a page are not enough. Not my words, nor your words. Reddit is not a substitute for real change, no matter how pretty our words are and how many upvotes we get. You see the duality of suffering and bliss, of darkness and light. Surely then you can see that there is no shame in seeking help. Worthless responded with, I really have no one to turn to. I'm alone in this, but I'm really all there is because there is only one consciousness. Most of my spiritual guides have rejected me as psychotic and damaging due to my suicidal self-mutation. I have spent upwards of 3 months locked in psychiatric wards across the US, medicated with OCD and psychotic drugs. The only problem with me is my love for God, which must be medicated. I'll be fine. I thank you for your support and guidance. It's truly a terrible loop and darkness to be stuck in. Maybe one day I will be free. Until then, I will keep hope in my heart instead of fear. As time went on, Worthless319 kept posting about religion, sacrifice, suffering, crucifixion, and drugs. His last few posts talk about him preparing for a war with North Korea. He claims it's his mission to stop the conflict between the two countries and save the planet through his own sacrifice. Then, in one of his most alarming updates, he mentions that he plans to attempt something on Saturday. What's the likelihood I survive severing the rest of my... I will be attempting it on Saturday, but I'm afraid I might survive. I survived my castration after bleeding for 18 hours and finally seeking medical attention because I wasn't dying. Do you want to die, or do you want a sex change? Why the genitals? Why not cut your wrist or a major artery? I suggest calling a suicide hotline or going to your emergency department immediately. Please don't hurt yourself anymore. Your life has meaning. There is so much more living to be done. You never know what's around the corner. I'm getting that he's not suicidal. He wants to modify his body for whatever reason. I am and do want to die, but the only method I am allowed to perform is severing the rest of my as a sacrifice in a ritual. It's pretty obvious that Worthless319 was dealing with something seriously wrong mentally. On top of that, he seemed to be using drugs to self-medicate, which probably only made the psychosis worse. He may have had something like schizophrenia mixed with religious and savior-type delusions. Basically, he seemed to believe that God, or some higher version of himself, was giving him a mission, and that his suffering somehow helped save the world. Obviously, we can't diagnose someone just from Reddit posts, but this doesn't feel like a normal troll account. It feels like someone completely detached from reality and deep in a mental health crisis. On Saturday, October 7th, 2017, a Reddit user posted on the Morbid subreddit asking what happened. What happened to the guy that was supposed to cut his dick off yesterday, Saturday? On this same thread, it would be Worthless319's final response ever to any comment ever made. Looks like he's just living life with his German Shepherd. Hopefully he didn't go through with it. It's an old pic I'm reminiscing upon, as I'm stuck on a bus for 2+ days to get my revolver. Edit. I'm halfway across the country because I found someone that would murder me by cutting off my... but they would have mutilated my corpse unwillingly and eaten me, so I opted out. Many users jumped into his posts over the years, asking if he was still alive. Sadly, he never replied, and people began to assume he went through with his plan and died. There are many theories online about what happened to Worthless319. Some people believe he may still be alive. Others think the entire account was an elaborate troll or some kind of disturbing internet performance. But others believe he was exactly what he appeared to be, a deeply tormented person trapped inside his own delusions, spiraling further and further until the posts finally stopped. Whatever the truth is, the story of Worthless319 remains one of the most disturbing rabbit holes to ever come out of Reddit. Whether it was a troll, a real mental health crisis, or something in between, it's a story that leaves you with more questions than answers. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think Worthless 319 was real? Or was this all some elaborate internet hoax? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and check out the videos on screen for more disturbing Reddit deep dives.